What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're gonna do something a little different today. We were talking on the other channel, and then we're talking maybe on this one about business stuff. People want to know more about uh, because a lot of the things that I do are actually out. When you have a business like this, you do things outside of just making guitar parts, right? People want to focus on the tone, but there's like a whole lot more to it than that, right? The product is something that you basically just have to like establish, make sure it's good, but then the rest of the work is where the real work begins. And so, one of the things that we talked about on the live stream last night was people wanted to know because I think somebody brought up chronic pain and etc. So I figured what I'd do is just tell a little story. And some of you may not be interested in this at all. Some of you might not care. No big deal. But I just figured I would share because I've never really shared this before because I never really had a place to do it. But let's do it now. So my music start began when I was a child. My dad played professionally for many years. Um, I to this day he still won't tell me like who he had record contracts with and stuff because that was before me. Um, and we ended up having a guitar store when I was very young. So I just remember spending Saturday mornings stacking guitar strings, the Ernie Ball little paper bags in drawers and stuff, winding cables, like that kind of stuff. I remember doing a booth at the county fair every year. Like those are the memories of having a guitar store that I have, and my first Stella acoustic, etc. And then as I grew up, he got out of the music business and went into television and ended up working for PBS for many years. And now he's retired, but he did a bunch of things. We're Native American, and so he built a bunch of radio stations on reservations like all over North America, Alaska, Mexico, Arizona, all over the place. So he is FCC certified in radio stuff. So I've been in the electronics world my entire life. It's just been something that I've been completely enveloped in. I went to school for it. And literally had a soldering iron on the desk since I was a kid. Like literally just it's been around my entire life. It was not really my interest though. So one of the things my dad told me was, my dad said, don't go into the music business as an artist because you'll end up riding around in a van and hating your life. And in it, unless you really, really make it big, um, you don't want to end up dead in the back of a van somewhere. Like it's just not, because this was the 80s where that kind of stuff was happening a lot. So I went into the other. So what I always say is I'm on the other side of the desk. So I went into music production and um, television and all that kind of stuff when I was really young. Produced live news and all that kind of stuff when I was very young, late teens, early 20s. Um, and then but about the time I was 17, I started. So I had a couple things going. I had a bunch of stuff going at the same time. I've always hustled like this. I've always had 100 things going. While I'm doing one thing, I'm doing another thing. So when I was 17, we lived on the Navajo reservation in Arizona. I'm not Navajo, but we moved out there. My dad got a job for doing some television, radio stuff, and I noticed that the GSA administration had like a ton of cars that were always muddy and always dirty. So I went to the local GSA office, Government Services Administration office for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and said, "Hey, I will wash your cars for X amount of money once a month." The entire fleet. There was like 50 of them. By that time, um, so here I am, 17, got a government contract to wash cars, started detailing vehicles, started doing. I was 17. Um, Another opportunity came up where I ended up being the first. It was Cellular One, and then it was AirTouch, and then it was Verizon. But in the very beginning, I ended up being a Cellular One dealership in the first one in in northern Arizona. We also sold We also sold Prime Star, which then became EchoStar, which then became the Dish Network. So yeah, I'm 17, 18 years old. You done watching your car?
No, where's the sticky stuff that works on the interior that I don't like to touch, but works really good?
It is in the black chemical cabinet, probably about third shelf from the top.
Thank you.
Yep. There's a cardboard box with a bunch of interior detail stuff in it, and it's in there in a little jar.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Anyway, so that's what I did. Also, along that time period in my early 20s, I was married the first time. I managed a collision shop for another guy for a few years while I was doing a bunch of other little small business stuff, growing and selling that I wasn't really involved in that much. And then I left that and ended up starting an insurance agency. I was a insurance agent. I hated it. Made a lot of money. It was great. Hated it. Too much paperwork. One of my very first clients came to me and said, "Hey, what about stopping all this insurance crap and come and ride dirt bikes for a living?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I know you're smart. I know you got an engineering background. And I am starting a company." He already had a very successful company in the power sports industry who designed a carburetor part, Scary Fast Power Now. For those of you who know that brand, you'll know what that is. Designed a bunch of pipes for FMF as four strokes were coming into play and stuff. And he came to me and he said, "Hey, do you want to work for me full time? We're going to ride dirt bikes for a living. We're going to develop products for suspensions. We're going to develop products for cylinder heads. We're going to develop airflow stuff." And I was like, heck yeah. So that's what I did. So I quit the insurance agency stuff, got rid of all that, and then worked for a company for quite a while, designing dirt bike parts, and rode dirt bikes 5 days a week, and rode mountain bikes 3 days a week, and lived in Flagstaff, Arizona, and rode dirt bikes and had the time of my life. It was absolutely incredible. Wrote articles, ghost wrote. A lot of times you would write the content and then give it to somebody and then it would have their name on it. So if you go back to the Dirt Bike Magazine and Dirt Rider Magazine of the mid 2000s or whatever, a lot of that stuff was ours. And so we had a lot of this. It was really fun. It was so fun. I absolutely loved it. And one of the things I learned from that was it was the first time I'd ever seen somebody make like a ton of money and really understand a system. Of course, I'm partners in this thing, but I'm a very small partner. And what I'm learning is how to do business from a small scale. So like we did everything out of a 2-car garage in a cul-de-sac, right? We didn't have a shop. We didn't have anything. And we didn't scale it. We just kept it there. We outsourced the right things. We imported stuff. We exported stuff. We worked with outside machine shops. I learned this entire structure from my business partner. And I'm very, very, very grateful for him because of that. And then in 2007, I crashed and I broke my back in 4 places. I broke T4, 5, 6, and 7. I have a fusion from T3 to T8. I have two 8-inch rods, 8 5-inch screws, a couple of synthetic vertebrae. I almost died. They gave me a 3% chance to walk. And as a result of that, I hurt every day. And so I can't really do anything. What you see on the other side of the camera is about it. I can't really do anything for more than a few minutes at a time. So you'll see me sit in this chair for podcasts sometimes versus the other one because I need a comfortable chair. You'll see what you don't see is the structure of the day so that I'm not sitting at a desk because I can't really work. I have to really have to manage it. It is an extreme amount of pain still. And I don't take meds. that was a whole stage of life for another day. But let's just say that I call it my M&M phase, and I almost died. And so I'm very, very, very careful with medication and with I don't take pain meds at all. I drink a cocktail maybe once a week on the live stream. That's about it. Yeah, so I'm not a big alcohol person. I don't really get into that stuff. My addictions go into other places, like pocket knives and watches and things like that. Um, so anyway, that business was very successful for me in the sense that I did made some decent money and made a good living. But more importantly than that, I learned a lot of business structure stuff and learned really how to do it at a small scale. Once I got hurt, I didn't do anything for a while, and then I started about 2009. I broke my iPhone 3, and I realized I learned that you could repair it, and there was nobody really doing it. So I started one of the first smartphone repair companies, basically in the United States, learning from YouTube, because YouTube in 2009 was very, very new. And I'm literally watching videos in Chinese because there's nothing going on. Like, literally watching videos in Chinese, trying to translate what's going on. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm learning on YouTube. I learned everything I need to learn on YouTube how to fix a cell phone. Next thing you know, I got a couple of locations. I got an employee. I got a guy doing micro soldering for me. We're doing water damage. We're doing all this stuff. And about that time is when I met Leslie. And well, a couple years later, actually, 2013, I met Leslie, and about that time, the thing was really clicking along. I ended up moving to Augusta, Georgia, because there was 11 hospitals here or something, or 9 hospitals or whatever it was, and I knew there was a lot of cell phone work here. Turns out I get down here and I'm like, eh. And right about that time, one of my buddies from actually Jersey Shore Guitar Garage called me. I'd known him from some TV stuff that I'd done in the dirt bike industry, and he said, you should try making pickups. And I'm like, okay. So I did, and they worked. I took all of the knowledge, because one of the things I knew from the dirt bike stuff was that the next time I do this, because of the way that business dissolved, long story, don't really want to tell it on the internet, ended up being owed a lot of money, and it was weird. But I'm glad that it happened. I no hard feelings. I'm glad that everything happened. Because I'm always grateful for a learning experience like that. You learn, people, even through bad experiences, you end up learning a lot of things, and you end up meeting a lot of people that you wouldn't have met even through a bad experience. And so I appreciate those contacts, right? Still to this day. One of them was Jersey Shore Guitar Garage, Jimmy Soldo. And he called me like years later and said, hey man, in 2012, end of 2012, beginning of 2013, said, hey dude, you should try making pickups. So I did. And one of the things I learned was from the F2 thing was next thing I do is going to have my name on it. I'm going to own it. I'm not going to be partners in it. It's going to have my name on it. I'm going to be in control of everything. And what we're going to do is we are going to use YouTube as a marketing arm. We are going to scale the business very carefully and very slowly, even if it takes a long time, so that we can do things the way I want them done, and so that we can create not only a business that is sustainable for a long time, but also an environment that I can function in, and that is good for my family. And that is because the dirt bike business was not good for my family. And so good for my family, and that I can raise my kids in, that now we have a grandkid. I'm very, very focused on quality of life. Quality of products is easy. We can make a good product. We do make a good product. If you've not tried DylanTalksTone stuff, I'll just say you're missing out. And for those of you that have, thank you. And right? The stuff's good. So the rest of the work really goes into the surrounding stuff. It goes into this. The time investment that we have these days is this, me and you hanging out. Um, and so building that structure into this business has been very, very important for me. And so when people get into the comments and say stupid crap all the time, um, my thought process behind responses is a couple of things. One is I feel sorry for you. Um, the other thing is I look at it as a study, right? So people say, "Oh, you get super offended and whatever." I don't get offended at all because I don't know you. So in order for you to be offended, in order for me to be offended, that's an action that I have to take based on something that uh, doesn't really mean anything to me because I don't really know you, right? So what my approach to all of this is kind of studying human behavior. When we have a good product, so that's no problem. So what we need to do is now find customers for the product, right? Um, and so understanding human behavior, understanding human psychology, understanding uh, all of those processes, right? And then growing with technology, with AI, with CNC technology, with all those things, right? It's just you're constantly just learning and learning and learning. But most of what you're learning is learning about people. And so that's really fun. And that's why I love this channel, because that's why I love the other channel too, but that's why I love this one too. So I think it's great. I have an awesome life. I really do. Um, and so I'm very grateful for everybody that participates. I wanted to tell you this story. There's a lot more to it. I know this is a long video, going on 16 minutes. There's probably a lot more to it than that, a lot more details. Um, but I think what happens is uh, one of the things that happens because comment sections is you don't get to have complete thoughts, right? In 2 lines of comment on a video. And so this is just my way of just hanging out with you for a few minutes and talking about the stuff that we would talk about if we were sitting here having a cup of coffee this morning. You know what I mean? And so I'm very grateful that you let me do this, for those of you that stayed this long. And I'm also grateful to have you as part of the family that I've been able to tell this story. Many of you know more. Most of you know a lot less. So doing what we can to just be friends and just grow the community this way. And I don't know what the goal of it was really, except for just to get to know you better. And to be transparent. I think a lot of times, people hide behind anonymity on the internet, and that's something that I've never done. One of the things I'll always say to people is I always invite you to come and engage with me. And if you don't like what we do, I get that. There's a lot of people that won't. But that's okay. Not everybody has to like everybody, and not everybody has to buy something from every business, right? It's like that's a misnomer, right? I don't, and if you decide not to buy from me, I'm not going to starve, right? Because somebody else will. So it's okay. And so I'm very grateful for everybody. Even if you don't like what we do, I know you're still here. You're still in the comments. And yeah, I appreciate you. So there you go. There's a little story. That's all I got. Thanks for hanging out.